Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast, episode 177. Today we're diving into something happening in the tech world that seems to be, well, a sign of the times. Microsoft is planning some significant layoffs come May 2025. It's a bit of a moving target, but the message is clear.
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye. It's not the first time we've seen big tech companies making workforce adjustments, but the time's focus of these planned cuts at Microsoft is particularly interesting. They're really targeting middle management and, non-coding roles specifically.
Right? Oh man, this is the cool part, and it's a bit of a head scratcher for some. So basically what's happening is, they're looking to streamline operations and improve something called the engineer to manager ratio, or sometimes you hear it as the PM ratio, product manager ratio.
Okay, wait, let me get this straight though, Mark. So they want more people actually building the software, the products, the tech, and fewer people in those layers of management in between?
Exactly. It's kind of like, when you have a team working on something, and sometimes too many layers of approval or oversight can really slow things down. They're trying to reduce that friction, that overhead. And this isn't just a Microsoft thing either. We've seen Amazon push for their builder ratio, and Google making similar moves, cutting VPs even in late 2024, 5. It feels like an industry-wide movement.
That's really fascinating. So this builder ratio, or PM ratio, that's product manager ratio, right, is really becoming a key metric in the industry? It sounds like it's linked to, maybe, agility and trying to be more innovative?
Absolutely. The idea is, if you have more engineers relative to non-engineers or managers, you can make decisions faster and prioritize that core innovation. It makes the engineers central to things like integrating AI into their cloud services, or even the Xbox ecosystem after the Activision Blizzard deal. It's pretty high-level stuff, but the practical application is making teams more efficient at building things like the Azure AI stack or Copilot too. They become the core drivers.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's about putting the technical expertise front and center, making them closer to the decision-making. And you mentioned the Activision Blizzard deal. Does that play into these layoffs as well? Because that was a massive acquisition?
It definitely does. The post-acquisition restructuring from that deal is definitely a factor. When you bring two big companies together, there's bound to be some overlap and adjustments needed in the workforce, right? Like merging two big ships. 5. These planned layoffs seem like a continuation of that process. Integrating those teams and getting down to a structure they want.
It just feels like a bit of a constant cycle sometimes with these tech companies. We heard about Microsoft laying off 1,900 jobs in January 2024, too, right after the new year hit.
Right? And these planned cuts in May 2025. The exact numbers aren't disclosed yet, which can add to the uncertainty for folks. But looking at the trend, it seems this focus on streamlining and prioritizing technical roles is a deliberate multi-year strategy linked to their successes in areas like Slack, GitHub, and especially, AI is the big driver here.
Speaking of strategy and AI, I saw that Charlie Bell, Microsoft's security chief, has been talking a lot about this, and he used to be an SVP at Amazon 4. So he's seen this movie before, maybe?
Oh man, yes. Charlie Bell. He's a big deal in cloud infrastructure circles. He was at Amazon and helped pioneer that builders first culture there. 4. He knows his stuff. Now he's at Microsoft, and saying that streamlining teams around technical excellence is critical for cloud and AI success. 4. His background, his experience at Amazon, gives him some serious credibility on why this approach works.
So he's basically saying, based on his experience, this approach of focusing on engineers, prioritizing them, is how you succeed in the fast-moving tech landscape, especially with cloud and AI.
Exactly. He's seen it work firsthand. It's about making sure the people with the technical know-how, the engineers who build the core products, are really driving things, making quick decisions without too many layers. And when you think about it, with things like Azure AI tools becoming more sophisticated, it's predicted that by 2030, many tasks in non-technical areas like HR and finance could be automated sources on blind. That suggests where things might be heading in the longer term.
Wow, that's a significant prediction. So, not only are they restructuring now, but the rise of AI could continue to reduce the need for certain non-technical roles in the future. That's kind of unsettling for some fields.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about the implications. It suggests a future where tech companies might be even more heavily skewed towards engineering and specialized technical roles. It changes the whole dynamics of employment in that sector.
It does seem like this focus on efficiency and a higher builder ratio is a trend across the big players. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, they're all optimizing for slightly different areas perhaps, but the core idea of prioritizing engineering seems pretty consistent. Like a shared philosophy is emerging.
Definitely. Amazon has their overall builder ratio focusing on engineering spending, while Google had those VP cuts you mentioned. 4. Microsoft seems to be targeting middle management and specific product roles. It's all part of this larger industry shift towards a leaner, more technically driven model.
Looking at the impact though, Mark, while streamlining might boost productivity for the companies, frequent layoffs like these, it has to take a toll on employee trust and job security, right? I've seen discussions on places like Reddit where users were expressing a lot of anxiety about repeated redundancies, like, "Am I next?" Reddit threads.
That's a really important point, Jenny. There's a huge human element to all of this. While the strategy might make sense on a spreadsheet, the reality for employees facing uncertainty about their jobs is tough. It creates workforce instability. And that's just not great for anybody, for the company or the employee. In the long run, organizational psychology research, you lose talent, you lose institutional knowledge.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder about the broader implications for the job market outside of just these big companies. If more tech companies are shifting away from non-technical roles, what does that mean for people in those fields who aren't engineers?
It's a big question, a really big question. It pushes people towards acquiring technical skills or potentially looking at different industries as automation continues to advance. Anand Vaishampayan on YouTube had some good points about strategies for employees navigating these shifts, like upskilling and focusing on interdisciplinary areas that AI can't easily replicate. 4.
So the takeaway seems to be that Microsoft's planned layoffs in May 2025 under Satya Nadella's leadership are part of a strategic move to become leaner and more technically focused, mirroring trends at other major tech companies like Amazon and Google. It's driven by efficiency goals, post-acquisition restructuring from the Activision Blizzard deal, and a push towards a higher builder ratio. But it also raises important questions about workforce stability and the future of non-technical roles.
Precisely. It's a fascinating glimpse into how these giants are positioning themselves for the future, especially with AI becoming such a dominant force in cloud services and product development. We'll have to keep a close eye on what happens next, especially when those exact layoff numbers are confirmed and how the organizational structure actually changes.
Definitely. It feels like we're seeing a real evolution in how tech companies are structured. Thanks for breaking that down, Mark. The complex topic, but you made it pretty clear.
Anytime, Jenny. It's wild stuff, for sure, and I love digging into it. All right, everyone, that's it for episode 177. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.